Welcome back to the screen printing series. This specific part of the process is called scoop coating. So the liquid is called photo emulsion. It is light sensitive. That's why I'm in a dark room. However, you don't need to be in a dark room with the fancy red light and all that. You could just be in a dimly lit room or, all the lights off and one lamp in the corner. And then you're on the opposite end of the room and you could scoop coat that way. Just as long as you're not in any bright light. So you want to fill up the scoop coater, and right at this point right here, watch this. It's flowing forward. I wait a couple seconds for the line to form and then pull up and then left, right at the top to get a nice clean line at the top as well. Show you one more time. So one layer on the front there, slowly leaning it over, waiting a couple of seconds. Now as I'm scooping up with my right, I'm leaning it back into the coater with my left. You can scoop coat with a squeegee. I just find the photo emulsion tends to ruin squeegees over time. And you have a lot less control with a squeegee. And I definitely prefer the scoop coater. Should be able to find one online for pretty cheap. So I don't know, man. I think it's definitely worth just kind of sucking it up and spending a couple bucks on one. They're really not crazy expensive. Anyway, I do end up dropping this one, and it's not a big deal because all the photo emulsion is still wet. So all you got to do is kind of repeat the steps here. So that's what you see me doing. Just kind of repeating the steps. And once you get a coat on the front and a coat on the back, then you just go over them again at a sharper angle and remove the excess. But in general, scoop coating is extremely difficult. So if you don't get it at first, no worries, bro. Just stay the course. Keep trying. Don't give up. I promise it gets easier. Go ahead, stash the screen in a box and let dry for 24 hours. And here we are with another angle. That last one, just a little bit weird since I dropped it. Not a very normal one. So here's a bit more of a standard one here. So you just wait patiently. You watch a line fill up on the screen and then go ahead and slide it up the screen. One time on the front, one time on the back. And then you turn it back around and you use a much sharper angle. Once on the front, once on the back. And you'll see a tiny little line sort of form where it's recollecting some of the excess. And I've had some success with that, getting it to be a nice happy medium, not too thick of a coat, but also not too thin, somewhere nice right in the middle. When I say sharper angle, I mean that I'm holding the screen straight up and down, and I am angling the scoop coater away from the screen. The opposite of pouring it out. So right now I'm waiting for about 3 seconds until all of the liquid is touching the screen. So, another little tip here. There are so many. I don't know why I keep saying another one. They're never ending. For real. You always want to fill up the scoop coater the same amount. And that amount you're looking for is about 75%, somewhere from halfway to 75%. You might think in your brain, oh, it's just a tiny little screen. Let me just get out a little bit of emulsion since it's expensive. But this actually messes up your whole mojo, dude, because a tiny little bit of emulsion is very, very difficult to work with. And the number one most important thing is get nice, consistent layers. So look at this. Whatever you don't use, you just take a little spatula and you can kind of use that to guide it back in the container. So regardless of how much you're putting on the scoop coater, all the excess just ends up going right back out anyway. And to be honest, the cleanup process with all of the screen printing stuff is so important. If you clean up improperly, it makes the artwork look worse. That might not seem connected, but I can tell you from experience, it is directly connected. If an artist's studio shop is messy, normally it does end up showing up in the final product. So I'm going to go through how to clean this stuff up. It's definitely nice to have a little bit of water pressure. So, outside with the hose, or, this is a power washer, but I'm not using the pressure aspect of it whatsoever. That would be a little bit of overkill. And I'm just kind of working around it. Sprayed it down with a little bit of glass cleaner, also a little Simple Green, kind of 1-to-1 ratio of Simple Green and water, just any regular household cleaner. That is also gonna break it down pretty nice for you. Some different emulsions have a ton of crazy chemicals, and you should be wearing gloves. The Ecotex Amazon brand is non-toxic. All of their inks are non-toxic, and so is the emulsion. So I'm just kind of using my hands. No big deal. That's one of the reasons why I like that brand. And then a little bit of soap, just some regular soap works out totally fine. And it's very important. You want to rinse out, do a nice job of rinsing out all the tiny little bits of emulsion that are left in the scoop coater, because you could end up with some dried up emulsion right on the edge, and then that is going to keep you from getting a nice consistent layer. But anyway, man, keep on watching for the next stage in the process. I promise you we will get to screen printing at some point in time. Later.